In the final and highest instance, there is no other being than willing. Will is primal being. Those words were not written this morning. They emerged over 200 years ago from the mind of a philosopher whose ideas were so far ahead of their time that the world has spent centuries gradually catching up. His name was Friedrich Wilhelm Joseph Schelling. Born in 1775 in the German town of Leonberg, Schelling came of age on the edge of intellectual revolution. Across Europe, the old frameworks for understanding God, nature, and the human mind were cracking under the pressure of a new age. At just 15, he enrolled in the Tübinger Stift, alongside Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel and the poet Friedrich Hölderlin, three young men who shared a room, a dream, and an absolute belief that philosophy could remake the world. By his mid-20s, Schelling was already a professor at the University of Jena, moving in the circle of Goethe and Schiller, blazing with ideas that set rooms alight. What drove him was a conviction that cut against everything his era preferred. In an age busy dividing knowledge into separate disciplines, Schelling was searching for the thread he believed connected all of them. He found it first in nature. Rather than accepting the fashionable view that the natural world and the human mind were strangers, one mechanical, one spiritual, Schelling saw them as two faces of the same living reality. Nature should be visible spirit, spirit invisible nature. Written at just 22, this line from Ideas for a Philosophy of Nature defined what became known as Naturphilosophie and sent ripples through science, art, and religion for generations. Scientists, romantic poets, and early ecological thinkers all drew on what Schelling had first articulated. At a moment when the world is confronting the true cost of treating nature purely as a resource, it remains a deeply unanswered challenge. In his system of transcendental idealism, Schelling broadened his reach considerably. He declared that history as a whole is a progressive, gradually self-disclosing revelation of the absolute. Not chaos, not accident, but civilization moving toward greater self-understanding. And with equal boldness, he placed the individual at the center of that unfolding. The world of objects exists merely to support and awaken the self-conscious subject. Then came his most startling claim. Above logic, above science, above all systematic argument, Schelling placed art. Art is at once the only true and eternal organ and document of philosophy. He demanded the same creative capacity from every serious thinker. The philosopher must possess just as much aesthetic power as the poet. His observation that architecture is frozen music, a line that has wandered through design schools and conservatories ever since, pointed toward a conviction he held all his life. All great creative expression, whatever its material, is a single reaching toward what language alone can never fully name. By 1809, Schelling arrived at his most urgent and consequential ground. His philosophical investigations into the essence of human freedom confronted evil and freedom head-on. He would not comfort his readers with easy answers. Man is placed on that summit where he has within himself the source of self-movement toward good and evil in equal measure. No escape route, no reassurance that circumstance bears the real weight of what we do. The full burden of moral life placed precisely where Schelling believed it belonged, on the individual, eyes open, at the center of their own choosing. He pressed further still. Good and evil are in the closest and most intimate connection. And yet, from within that unsparing terrain, he drew a principle that carries vitality rather than despair. Without contradiction, there would be no life. Without opposition, no progress. In his later years, Schelling moved into darker and more prophetic territory. In The Ages of the World, he mapped the inner landscape of time with striking economy. The past is known, the present is recognized, the future is intimated. He returned again and again to his deepest conviction that the infinite and the finite are united in the absolute, and left those who followed him a thought that holds lasting weight for anyone who has known genuine darkness. Everything that is born must first descend into darkness. Schelling died in 1854, aged 79, much of his late work still unfinished, a fitting monument to a mind that never stopped reaching. The young Kierkegaard attended his late Berlin lectures. Nietzsche built on ground he had cleared. Heidegger drew unmistakably from his currents, and the psychoanalytic understanding of the unconscious bears the imprint of questions Schelling had made philosophically urgent long before Freud arrived. He built no seamless system and left no tidy doctrine. What he gave was something rarer, a way of inhabiting the great questions rather than closing them, a way of standing at the fault line between nature and mind, freedom and necessity, shadow and light, and refusing to flinch from any of it. In a world that still reaches restlessly for the comfort of settled answers, Friedrich Schelling reminds us that the most enduring truths are not handed to those who keep to safe ground. They belong to those willing to go where the light has not yet reached, and bring something real back with them. I'm grateful for the moments shared in discourse. May our paths cross again in the fullness of time.